I was going to make a PowerPoint, and then I made lunch instead. So...
Craig is in here.
Why?
Craig out of here?
Why does he get his own box?
What's wrong with Craig? What do you have against Craig?
I'm trying to...
Besides everything.
There we go.
It's called the Triad, not the whatever.
Apparently, he was a non-video. He was a non-video participant.
Gotcha.
Apparently, I made him go away. It's fine.
Are you sure it's not the government?
I mean, he's still on mine, but it's the government.
He shouldn't be. I thought I turned... Whatever.
It doesn't matter. I don't
it
care
doesn't
if
matter.
he sits there and stares at me with his cold, dead eyes.
Dead bear eyes.
That's so weird that I can't kick him out of everybody's. Okay. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
It don't matter.
Okay.
Anyway.
I'm so tired. I was already tired, and then we did all of that, which I started, so I shouldn't be complaining, but... I just wanted to try. Just to see.
Wait, are you talking about my... Whatever.
Hannah, are you okay?
Let's start this!
High. Okay.
I'm a lot high. My cousin's been painting all day. Our house is just fumes. I have a window open, but it doesn't matter. It's in my bones.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Hey guys, you're listening to the Triad, where we're spooky but sensitive. I'm Shelby.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Shannon.
We're recording we're looking at each other, and I can't keep it together.
Usually we are trying something new. Yeah, we're trying something new where we have the video up.
The theory was that would cut down on talking over each other, but so far that hasn't worked. So we'll see.
Yet here I am shouting over everybody.
It's fine.
We will see.
It's gonna be a disaster no matter what.
Yeah,
because that's just who we are as people.
Happy Ash Wednesday. If this were normal times, I would be walking around on campus looking for a spouse because this is when they are marked. Invisible.
Oh my god.
You're not marked. Where's your...
They sprinkled it on top of our heads this year because we can't touch each other.
Fair.
I know.
Fair.
I got like fairy dusted this morning at 7 a.m. Good morning. Here's some dirt.
Here's some dirt in your hair. It's fine.
Feel bad about it. You sinned. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Great.
So,
do we have any actual announcements real quick? I don't
have like real announcements other than we got a crap ton of snow here, and then I shoveled the driveway and threw out my back because I am 95 years old apparently, and it has literally been 3 days of me taking muscle relaxants and like anti-inflammatories, and it kind of is better, but you know. And then so I'm currently recording. Yes, I am currently recording from my bed, and my microphone is propped up on a teddy bear. So we're doing great things.
Profesh.
Yeah, very profesh.
Mine's kind of on that topic, unless you have one. Okay. I'm sure people have noticed that there's random thud noises when I talk, and I can't figure out. Apparently, I hit my desk constantly, but I can't like make myself stop. So I ordered like a floor stand thing, but because of the shit ton of snow, I don't have it yet. So there might still be random thud noises in here, sorry. But hopefully next week that will be done.
The Midwest, Illinois specifically, we got the Midwest version of a blizzard. It is not Hannah's version of a blizzard.
That's called a blizzard. It's just a regular blizzard. I suffer from nor'easters. It's different.
Yeah.
I know, but...
Yeah, we got...
I think we got like 9 or 10 inches here.
Yeah. Well, we already had like 6 inches because it's been snowing here off and on for like 2 weeks. But now it's like up to my hips in some places. And there are cars still that are just completely covered.
It like snowed again here today. I
don't think it did here.
I wish I...
What?
The camera's working so...
What?
I was gonna say, I said the camera's working so well, but what I was gonna say was I wish that I had taken a picture of my driveway because it, whoa, my pillow was on the window and it's so cold. It looked like it was slushy, like my whole driveway, but it was solid ice, and I wore heels to church this morning, and I almost lost all my teeth getting out of my car.
Well, that is your own fault.
I actually left the house today and walked to Target, and there's this one part on, it's like the entrance to an alleyway. It's just ice, but I didn't fall. So.
I mean, congrats.
The last time I was on ice, I did fall. So.
Oh, another announcement. I got my first dose of the vaccine yesterday.
Yay!
And
Woo!
so far, I haven't had any side effects other than, like, the injection site hurts or spot,
That's
What'd
whatever.
you get?
But what?
Which one did you get?
The Pfizer.
Oh, twins.
And then today, I can't tell if it's, like, a vaccine symptom or if it's just my body being trash. But I've had, like, a racing heart all day, and it might just be my body being trash because
I'm
it
gonna go
is,
with it's
so.
probably you.
Yeah. Honestly.
It might just be a thing, too, where your brain's like, maybe, like, it's like inventing problems because you took the vaccine, and your brain's like, something should be wrong. We got the vaccine. You know what I mean?
Well, and, you know,
Like the
3
opposite
days
of
of
placebo.
muscle relaxants and not moving from my bed is my body's like, you're forgetting to do something. You need to do something. You need to panic. So.
Yeah. So.
Shut
It's
it down.
That's where we
This
shove
is what
the
I was
panic
trying to do with
deep
my
down
sticky notes now that you
inside.
guys can see me.
Oh, I understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, God, Hannah. And now it's frozen.
My camera's frozen.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I'm not sure the cameras are a good idea, Shannon.
Where's my phone? I want to take a picture. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you just
Okay, that's
fine.
weird.
I got a
Okay,
picture.
everybody smile. Smile. That's our teaser.
I love it.
Except no, my room's a fucking mess. See that cup that was full of tomato soup and there was an egg salad sandwich on there because hashtag Lent.
I mean, that's fair. Anyway, do we want to get started? There's any more
Why am I
announcements?
still frozen?
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I assume you'll unfreeze at some point.
That or you can
Look,
leave
your
and come
post-it
back.
notes
It's
were
up to
just
you.
too much for your camera to handle.
I'll just wait it out.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, what are we talking about today?
All right, today, because it is still February and therefore still Black History Month, we are going to talk about George Washington Carver.
Woo.
Yas.
Because, well, and this could just be because I went to, like, private Baptist schools in Florida, but literally the only thing I ever learned about him was that he invented peanut butter, which isn't even true. So,
That's all I learned too, so don't worry about it.
But
Yeah.
he made like a bazillion uses with the peanut, right?
yeah. So we're going to talk about him because I think, I was going to talk about this one lady who, let me find her name again real quick. Oh, here it is. Okay, her name was Marie Clark Taylor, and you should look her up because she's super cool. I did not talk about
Sounds
her.
familiar.
Yes. She is also she's an African-American female scientist. I didn't talk about her just because, one, she is a woman in history, and two, she is a woman of color in history, and therefore there is zero information on her
I wondered where
besides
you were going with that.
the most basic details. So, but what she did do is very cool, and so, Marie Clark Taylor, look her up.
Cool.
But,
Oh, Hannah's
basically, oh, here we
No,
go.
I just turned my camera off. I was trying to
gone. Okay.
Gotcha.
reset it.
But basically, I mean, I kind of knew I wanted to talk about him anyway, George Washington Carver, but the Missouri Botanical Gardens in St. Louis has been putting up posts on their Facebook page all month about like different like African Americans who contributed to like botany and horticulture and agriculture and things like that. And so like that's how I found Marie Taylor as well, but it's basically I've been kind of going through those and looking those people up, and they're really cool. But this one I figured I would do just because people know the name, but they don't know beyond that he invented peanut butter, which again, he did not do. So,
cool.
Here we go. George Washington Carver. All of my information. Losing my breath. I'm laying down in bed. Okay.
Do you have notes that we can follow along with, or?
Yeah, they're in my research folder.
Okay.
Feel free to go in there. I was going to make a PowerPoint, and then I made lunch instead.
That's fair.
Shelby!
Hannah, I just cannot be as amazing as you. I'm sorry. Look.
I wish I could...
I'm an underachiever, and that's all we need to know about me.
Me as a bird and my future bird husband instead.
I mean, that's fine, too.
You're just gone now, Huna, from the video.
I know,
part.
I turned it off. It's
okay.
not even working.
Okay.
I said, look at me and my future bird husband.
I mean,
that sounds really weird out of context. All of us have a bird as our picture on a thing, and it's just...
Which we didn't plan on doing.
Yeah, somehow on Discord, all of our little, like, profile icon pictures ended up as birds. Mine is Angry Pingu. Hannah is, like, this old Victorian picture.
Raven.
But it is...
Like my raven husband.
But it's, like, these two people, and they have, like, raven heads instead of human heads. And then Shannon's... What is yours? Yours is an angry bird that says something.
I'd sell you to Satan for one corn nut.
Yep, I'd sell you to Satan for one corn chip. But, yes.
Okay, fuck me. Whatever.
How dare. But yeah, somehow we all ended up with birds.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. So my notes came from, like, 90% of my notes came from history.com, which is the, like, History Channel website, essentially. But then I also used Wikipedia, basically mostly to, like, verify information or kind of expand on certain things, because they were like, he was part of this society, and I was like, I don't know what that is. So I used Wikipedia to figure out what this society was. So,
cool.
You know. But yeah, most of it came from history.com. So basically, George Washington Carver was an agricultural scientist and inventor, which... Again, most people know at least that much, that he was a scientist and inventor, and he did something with plants. But yeah, so for his early life, basically he was born in Diamond, Missouri, into slavery in 1864, which was the year before slavery was outlawed. Except that the exact date of his birth is unknown. They think it was either in January or July of 1864, but those are two very different months, so no one really knows. He didn't even know when his birthday was. So,
yeah, a lot of times in the old days, they would just put you down as January because you were born in that year.
Yeah, and plus he was born
the actual date.
To, like, he was born to slaves, so, like...
Yeah.
They really didn't care.
Diamond, Missouri, you say?
Yes.
Okay, Craig's having a problem now, too. Whatever. Sorry, I'm really tired. But, like, this is kind of tying back with mine last, because last time I talked about, like, the Missouri Compromise. And how nothing above the 3630 line could be a slave state. Missouri was the exception to that rule, which is how he was able to be born into slavery. Not able, but you know what I mean. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all, Diamond, Missouri has a population of 900, and the only thing there besides the high school, and I kid you not, there's literally 2 cross streets. There are literally 2 cross streets, is a Casey's.
That is the most Midwest thing you've ever said.
I know, it's so fucking Midwest. Okay, for everyone who doesn't know, the best pizza you can get in the Midwest, hands down, is from the gas station called Casey's.
Yep.
Craig, quit interrupting.
No, I wanted to bring Craig back just in case. Sorry.
Yeah, Casey's, I literally have a box of pizza from them downstairs in my kitchen.
It's
'Cause
so
we got
good.
it the other
It's
day.
like, it's the worst garbage food you can have.
Like, it is the greasiest, most disgusting pizza, but it's so
But
delicious.
it's so good.
It's so good. Also, we have in our town, we have a Domino's and a Pizza Hut and a Casey's, and I will get my pizza from Casey's every time. Unless I don't want to go drive and get it, and then I get it from Domino's because they're across the street from me and they'll deliver it.
Mm-hmm. Although, to be
and
fair,
I'm
for
just
you,
that lazy.
Driving to Casey's is like a 2-minute trip, not even.
Yes.
You could walk to Casey's if you really wanted to.
I could, but I won't.
Yeah, nobody will.
So, also, we don't get our pizza from Pizza Hut anymore because it once took them an hour and a half to get it to us, and they're literally less than a mile away from us.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we have other deliveries. And I was like, it's a Tuesday night, and I know that you don't deliver outside of our town. So
yeah, there are 6 people who live here total. Like, I don't understand.
Right. You don't have that many deliveries, I promise. Anyway, he was born in Diamond, Missouri in 1864. We don't know what time in 1864.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
It was pre-Casey's, but...
Was it AC or... Wait, BC?
I could still be BC.
I know, that's what tripped me up.
Like, before Casey's.
Wait a minute.
Oh my gosh. No, because now BC means before COVID.
That's stupid. I'm going to look up when Casey's was invented.
Oh, God.
Gas station.
Okay, well, that was the first bullet point. On to the second. So his mother was named Mary, and she was purchased by Moses Carver, who was a white farm owner, and she was purchased when she was 13 years old, and then 9 years later, she gave birth to George. And reportedly, supposedly, Moses Carver was against slavery, but he needed help to manage his 240-acre farm. But, like, he still bought slaves, so...
Yeah, you could do that and then just pay people.
Yeah.
Like, what a concept.
And then, I don't know. Regardless, I guess. I don't really know. Anyway, during the Civil War, George was an infant, because obviously he was born like a year before it started. But, so he was an infant, and his mom, and one of his sisters were kidnapped by slave raiders from the Carver's farm, and they were sold in Kentucky. But Moses Carver wanted them back, so he hired his neighbor. 1959. Good to know. Casey's was founded in 1959.
I'm trying not to interrupt.
No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, so Moses Carver hired his neighbor to go and retrieve George, his mother, and his sister. The neighbor found George, but not the other two, and he was able to get him back because he bought him by trading one of Moses Carver's, like, best horses. And so George ended up going back to the Carver's farm.
I didn't even know that slave raiding was a thing in the U.S.
Yes.
Because it was so, like people respected the ownership of other people, which is gross, but, like, that's just how it was.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, and the way it kind of phrased it made it sound like it was only during the Civil War that they did slave raiding.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay, that makes sense.
So, yeah. And it was probably just like a way to make money or something.
Yeah. Well, and everything was really chaotic.
Yeah.
The Civil War, and then Missouri up until the Civil War was just a hot mess and a half, because they were basically having their own mini Civil War with Kansas. It was a whole thing. So.
Yeah. Missouri's always been a mess.
Yeah.
But anyway, so George went back to the Carver's farm. His mom and sister were not found. I couldn't find what happened to them.
Yeah.
If we even know.
We
so, yeah, probably not. It's not like we have great records of things like that.
Well, and they would have changed their names too, so.
Yeah. And plus her name was Mary, and then whatever the last name of whoever owned her was. So, like, yeah.
Who knows?
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after slavery was officially abolished, Moses Carver and his wife, Susan, I mean, I guess, like, freed them, but it was abolished, so whatever. But they ended up raising George and his brother James as their own children, because their father had died in an accident before George was ever born, so, like, he wasn't really, like, they had no memories of him. But yeah, so Moses and Susan raised the two boys as their own children, which is nice, I guess, in a way. They taught them both how to read and write. And then James basically, like, gave up on studies and decided to just, like, help out on the farm. He was good at, like, manual labor. He was like, I'll just do this. But George was a sickly kid, and had, like, a frail body. So he wasn't much help with, like, the farm work and stuff. So he helped out in the home. So Susan Carver taught him how to cook, mend, embroider, do laundry, garden, and how to make herbal medicines. So basically, his teachings with Susan Carver and growing up on a farm essentially sparked his interest in plants and how to mix, like, different plants to come up with different, like, concoctions. So he started experimenting with making pesticides, fungicides, and soil conditioners. And basically all of the local farmers in the area came to know him as the plant doctor, quote unquote, because he would help them improve their fields and gardens. Basically, he had this, like, uncanny ability to discern exactly what was going on with their, like, fields and stuff, and he could give them, like, natural ways to fix it. So, and that was all when he was, like, 9-10 years old, because at 11 years old, he left Diamond and went to Neosho, Missouri, which is only, like, 10 miles away, but still. He went to Neosho, Missouri to attend school. Whew. So in Neosho, he went to an all-black school, and he lived with Andrew and Mariah Watkins, who were an African-American couple, I can speak. And basically, Andrew and Mariah didn't have kids of their own, so they, like, basically took him in, housed him, and fed him, and all they really asked for in return was that he help out with the household chores. So, but Mariah was a midwife and a nurse, so she also taught George about medicinal herbs and, like, how to mix plants for medicinal purposes. So, all of that was when he was 11. He was not impressed with the education he was getting in Neosho, Missouri, which can't imagine why.
He was also at an all-black school, too, and those were not...
Yeah, and it would have been, like, let's see, he was 11, so it would have been 1875, 1876, so, like...
Yeah,
not impressed.
There was this thing at the History Museum in Missouri, in St. Louis. I think it was about 1875. It was just about the year 1875. It was incredible, and my family left me there because it was, quote, too boring.
Was that the one where Allison learned the phrase "cheese it, you duffer"? Because I feel like it was something similar to that.
It might be.
I think it was that same...
Cheese it, you duffer!
I think it was that same exhibit, or something really similar, where it was like St. Louis in the year blah, 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 but I don't remember what year it was.
1875, and it was like they had all those balloons.
Yeah, it was that one. That's when Allison learned it.
It was so cool. I read everything. It was like, and was this really house burned down, and it burned down the whole neighborhood. And I was like, that's sick. And my family was like, this is stupid, and went and got coffee and left me there alone.
No, we went. It was really cool. But that was where Allison learned "Cheese It, You Duffer," which she still fucking says. It's one of her,
my favorite thing
stuck in her head.
My favorite thing to do is when we hang out with her to just be like, hey, Allie, cheese it, you duffer.
You like
and then
trigger
she just
her.
says it constantly for the rest of the night, and I love it. It's so funny because you can just, like, she'll be talking, and then all of a sudden she'll just go, cheese it, you duffer.
Yeah.
She just, like, laughs and says it under her breath, and it's so funny.
The past summer, her word was lamp. She would just say lamp because we were in Table Rock Lake, and we were just, like, driving around because we were bored. And there was this town, either in Missouri or, like, northern Arkansas, I don't remember, but it's Lamp, but it's spelled with an E on the end. And so she just kept going, Lamp, and then she was singing from Parks and Rec, like, I think it's, like, the first season. At one point, Andy Dwyer is doing, like, I wish we were a lamp to light up when you got touched. And so she would just sing that over and over and over again.
Oh, my goodness.
Your sister has some kind of perseveration problem, and I love it. However, I almost just called her your daughter.
She's not my daughter.
Please, no.
She doesn't even look like my sister. We don't even look related.
No, she looks
Dude,
like
I'm gonna
my
send
sister.
you this TikTok I just saw. Oh, that's my update, y'all. I'm on TikTok now. It's crazy. Wait, I think I already talked about this. I can't remember.
Yeah, because last time you were on Russian TikTok.
Yeah.
Right.
Sending us things. Oh, also, speaking of, you know how in our last episode we talked about Oklahoma the musical? Like 2 days later, it showed up on Hannah's TikTok.
Yeah.
And, like, who even knows that musical besides me and Hannah?
I've never seen, and, like,
no one.
I don't know.
I think it's a Rodgers and Hammerstein, maybe.
It was the first one.
It is.
I had to Google things for
and
editing
I
purposes.
was
so
yeah.
Oh wait, I can't. How do I send this to you? I don't understand.
No.
I don't understand technology. But what I was gonna say was we did like a song of it for music one year at Cathedral Grade School in Belleville. Like, we sang Oklahoma, and I fell backwards into the curtain because I was having someone pretend to lace up a corset, and I got a little crazy with it.
Just a little.
That was in like 4th grade. What the fuck?
Oh my god, Hannah. Anyway.
I think I can send this to you like this. I'm not sure.
What are you trying to send? You've sent us TikToks before. I don't understand the problem.
I know. Look at this picture I took of my blanket today.
What?
Oh god. What is happening?
That's me, Tigray. I love you.
Okay, that's the teaser picture. We'll have multiple, because some of them's going to be just frozen.
It has to say me, Tigray, because that is what it is. My dad got that blanket in Afghanistan, and I've had it for like a million years.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
Isn't it beautiful? Fuck, how do I send you this? I don't even know how to find it again.
I don't know how to re-find a TikTok. Once they're gone, they're gone.
Right. Unless you liked it or
you saved it.
I don't know if I did that.
I don't either.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, fuck, I wish my camera worked, then I could just show it to you. Sorry, I may have just blown out my mic. Screaming. Sorry.
Okay, George.
That's okay. Yes.
George. At this point, he is not George Washington Carver, by the way. He is just George Carver.
Didn't he pick that name?
What?
Didn't he pick Washington Carver, like George Washington Carver? He picked that part.
Yes, but it wasn't for George Washington.
Okay.
I will tell you about it in a second.
I'll shut my mouth.
Anyway, I lost my train of thought. So yeah, at this point, he's just George Carver. He actually, when he went to Neosho, called himself George of Carver, or Carver's George. And Andrew and Mariah Watkins were like, no, your name is George Carver. Like, you are not anybody's. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Which, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, George Carver, he was not impressed with his education, so at 13 years old, he started finding other schools to attend. And basically, he spent the next decade or so moving around to different towns in the Midwest and attending different schools wherever he could find places to stay and a decent education and whatever. So went to like multiple different schools. It doesn't have a record that I could find of like all the different towns he went to. Eventually, basically the way that he would like put himself through school and like find places to stay is that like he had all these domestic skills that he had learned from both Susan Carver and from Mariah Watkins. So he was like real good at helping out in homes, and he could like help with like medicinal stuff, and like he could help out with crops and things like that. So he would do that, put himself through school, all of that. Eventually, he ended up in Kansas, and he graduated from high school in Minneapolis, Kansas. It's just the Minneapolis High School. And from there, he applied to Highland College in Kansas in 1880. He was initially accepted at Highland College, but the day he showed up to attend classes, they were like, oh, wait, you're not white. You can't go here. Yeah. So they revoked their acceptance when he showed up. Which at the time it was an all-white college, but yeah.
They kind of did that. So there was this, it wasn't even technically a military school. It was a college that like pretended to be a military school called the Citadel. And it was like the last all-male, quote-unquote, military school. It was not actually part of like a military school system. They just pretended that they were. Anyway, the reason it is no longer strictly male was because there was this big court case in the 90s because a girl who I think was named Shannon, she applied without mentioning her gender because it like wasn't on the application. And then they accepted her, but then they found out she was a girl and revoked her admission. Yeah. And so that was what ended same-sex military education in the country. Because there wasn't a suitable like alternative. Yeah, because you can have like sex segregated education, there just has to be a suitable alternative within the area basically, and there wasn't one. So
within the field, within the area.
So the Citadel is no longer sex segregated for reasons similar to this. So
I have a question. Because I have no memory, and Shannon, you're my external hard drive. Was it you may not have even been on this trip. Was it in high school or college where we drove to that weird-ass military school in the middle of fucking Missouri and played a concert there? Must have been college by the look on your face.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was so weird. It was so fucking weird. We drove to, like, this military school in the middle of Missouri, and it was just all these, like, fuck-up kids. I hate to say that, but it was kind of true.
Yeah, we did not do that in high school.
It was literally military school.
Was it a military college or a military high school?
No, it was, like, military high school.
Yeah, we did not do that in
the
cafeteria.
Well, yeah, because, like, I have family members who, like, worked at a military high school up in Wisconsin, so.
It was very strange.
Anyway.
It was like a day trip. Like, we
concept.
drove out there, played a concert, and then drove home, and we were all like, what just fucking
but
happened?
Yeah,
like,
I know
these
the
kids
one
could
that...
be in band. Why did they want to listen to us? I don't know.
The one that, like, my family worked at up in Wisconsin, it's, like, a bunch of kids who, like, got in trouble and were sent to military school.
That's how most military high schools are, from how I understand, anyway.
It's so weird. I don't understand.
I just Googled it. The only there's no way we could have done that in a day if you're going from Springfield, though. Because the only, Missouri, military school is up near Columbia.
No, it was...
Like, there's no way we would have done that in a day. That's like a 3-hour drive. Okay, I wasn't involved regardless, so...
No, it was like a day trip. Like, we went in the morning, played in the afternoon, drove home that night.
Yeah, that must have been in college when I wasn't in band. Or it was with, like, the marching band or something.
I don't know.
I didn't do that.
It was very weird.
Is the moral of that story.
I do not know.
We had, like, these... these kids, these, like, little kids, not little kids, but, like, these children, babies in uniforms, like, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, let me show you to the cafeteria, ma'am, the mess, ma'am. And I was like, get the fuck off. Like,
right. Stop it with your hive mind.
I'm trying to find this TikTok and it's literally killing me.
Oh my god, Hannah.
It's not going to show up again unless you liked it or saved it, because once you've seen one, it doesn't come back up.
I sent it to Emma.
Page. Oh, so it's somewhere.
It's somewhere in your messages to Emma.
Okay.
Oh my god, I think I found it.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know why we were talking about this. Okay,
about
perfect.
what?
I found it. Okay.
Which part of
I don't
that?
even.
There was a lot.
What is happening?
I don't know how this popped into my head with whatever it was that we were talking about.
Okay.
Did I send it? Who did I send it to?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I sent it to my mom.
Let's just have Shelby keep going while you try to find this.
Ah! Okay.
Okay, I'll watch it later. Oh my gosh. Okay, so he was accepted into Highland College and then rejected on the day he showed up because they realized he was not white. So, after that, he traveled around again in the Midwest. He settled on a homestead in Ness County, Kansas, and there he maintained a small conservatory of plants and flowers and had a little, like, geological collection. And then in the late 1880s, he tried going back to school again. He enrolled in Simpson College, which was a Methodist college, and they basically admitted all qualified applicants, so he was accepted there.
That's cool.
Yes. That was the late 1880s, possibly 1890. The dates for a lot of these things are a little weird. They're like, it might have been this year, it might have been that other year. We're not really sure. But it's fine. So he went to Simpson College in Kansas. So George initially studied art and piano. He was going to attempt to earn a teaching degree. But his art professor, Etta Budd, well, one of his professors, she basically was like, I don't know if you're going to be able to make it as a black artist in today's society, and you have this, like, proficiency in plants. Basically, she noticed how good he was at drawing plants and how much he, like, seemed to enjoy them as he drew them, sort of thing. And she was like, so I think you should go. And basically, she just encouraged him to apply to the Iowa State Agriculture School, which is now Iowa State University. But yeah, back then, Iowa State Agriculture School, to study botany. So that is what he did. He was accepted there. And he ended up attending Iowa State as the first black student to ever attend that university, and in 1894 he became the first ever African American to earn a Bachelor of Science degree.
Cool.
Both from that school and in general. So,
is that the school that has the Iowa Writers Workshop?
I have no idea. No
I'll
clue.
Google it.
I just know that I hate Iowa, so...
Why do you hate
University?
Iowa?
No, it's the
Yeah, it's the University of Iowa.
Okay, never mind.
Because the entire state smells like a fart.
Oh,
and,
I remember that.
They don't know how to drive.
Yeah.
So.
No, I very clearly remember that whenever we had to drive to...
Also, there are 0 landmarks when you drive across Iowa, and I'm saying this as someone who comes from Illinois, like, 0 landmarks.
Illinois has...
so boring.
Illinois is mountainous comparatively, like...
Yeah.
At least we have
Literally,
hills.
you can drive through Iowa for 6 hours, and it looks the exact same, and you feel like you've been there for 10 minutes.
And it smells like cows the entire time.
And you're just like,
Iowa?
can I get out of here, please?
driving through Iowa and Kansas are like driving through purgatory because you don't
Basically.
feel like you're moving.
Yeah.
You see the same fucking telephone pole next to the same fucking cornstalk 18 fucking times. And you're like, I've been on this
Exactly.
road for 16 hours. I don't understand.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the only notable thing I
Having, like,
remember
more
whenever we were
flashbacks.
driving to... Yeah, it was whenever we were driving to visit your sister, Shelby, in South Dakota. And
Oh, yeah.
we were in
Yeah,
Iowa
yeah.
for so long. We were in
So
Kansas
long.
whenever a cow peed on our car.
What?
That was you and Allie.
Yeah, that was me and Allie. We
I was like, I
driving
was not there for that.
No, sorry, I should have been clear. We were driving to Colorado. We were next to a cattle truck, and we were trying to pass it, and a cow peed on the car.
I just like
I almost
pictured you at a
wrecked.
gas station.
No, we were driving. I almost wrecked
And like
the
a
car. I
cow
was
just
laughing
wanders.
so
Yeah.
hard.
Cow just wanders by, sticks its
No.
leg up like a dog.
Yeah, like
No,
a dog. I
it
was like,
so
where?
weird driving.
What? I mean, I wouldn't have been
Marking
surprised.
his
Like, yeah, that's
territory.
Iowa. Sounds about right.
Right. Sounds like
Ugh.
Kansas. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
Sounds like
almost
one of those
wrecked
flat
because I was
states. Oh,
laughing
wait.
so hard. It was so funny.
Oh my
And
lord.
we were already really tired because we were on like the Colorado side of Kansas, so we'd already been driving for a really long
Oh
time.
my god.
Right.
That's when you
Ugh.
have to find somewhere to stop, or your brain's gonna break because you
Yeah.
can see the mountains, but like
You see them for so
they're
long.
so far away.
Yeah,
It's because
oh
it's
God.
so flat that you can see something that's like 500 miles away and you're just
Yeah.
like, I can see it. Why aren't you getting closer?
Yeah, that happened, and then we hit Denver at rush hour. And I was
Oh,
really
God.
fucking frustrated because the GPS like rerouted us, but it made it worse, and I was getting really annoyed. And then Allie
It's like hitting
was
Atlanta
just,
at rush hour.
Yeah, Allie was just in the passenger seat wanting to tell me about the prairie dogs that she saw on the side of the road, but she was afraid to tell me because she thought I'd yell at her because I was really frustrated.
Yeah, I probably would have
You're
punched her in
lucky
the
she
mouth.
didn't just scream prairie dog at you.
She was
Because that's what Allie normally does.
exactly. She showed a lot of restraints, which she normally does
Good
not.
job, Ellie.
Literally, I don't know why, but it's literally been twice now that the pet parade in St. Louis that they do for Mardi Gras, which they didn't have this year, but they did
Yeah.
do an online thing. It was like a wiener dog race or something.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
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 They did it like they streamed it or whatever. But anyway,
This is so
usually
bizarre. Like, what even is St. Louis? Keep going.
right? But yeah, usually for Mardi Gras every year, St. Louis does a pet parade and people
it's
just
the
bring out their pets and
best.
it's so fun. Everyone's like drunk and throwing candy and you just get to look at dogs. And sometimes they'll bring their miniature horse or their
Yeah.
goldfish
Or
and
a
I love
snake.
it.
It's great.
But literally twice now, me, Shannon, and her sister Allie have gone to it. And for some reason, we let Allie drive both
yeah.
times.
Why? Wait.
And
what?
And so we're literally driving in St. Louis traffic, and it's all these people trying to get downtown who like watch this parade. And Allie, every 2 seconds, is going, "Look, a dog! Look, a wiener dog! Look, look at its little legs! It's so fluffy! Look, a dog!" And I'm just like,
know,
Allie,
why
we're
would
gonna
we do that?
crash. Just park, and we can look at all the dogs. And I'm just
Shelby,
like,
no
whose
offense
dumb idea
to
was
you.
it to let the ADD child drive?
Shelby, no offense to you as a little sister, but I have never let one of those little shitheads drive a car when I'm in the vicinity. I'm like, get out, I'm driving. The one time I
Look.
drove with Lucy before she had her permit, I got out of the car and walked home because I was so mad at her.
Oh my god!
Because she was being
I
a bad
mean,
driver and she wasn't listening. She's like, I can do whatever I want. I was
I
like,
don't
you can't eat a
remember why.
popsicle and drive with your knees, you fucking moron. Okay, anyway, sorry.
I mean, yes, you
Personal
can.
matters.
Allie would
okay.
have, or Allison would argue that point because she drives with her knees all the time. It drives me
I would
nuts.
argue that
Lucy
point.
did not have her license.
That's
She
true.
had a permit. And I
That's
was
true.
like, you're not even buckled. What the fuck? So I got out and walked home.
See, my older sister is 3 years older than me, and we moved. Basically, we like dropped her off for college, and I was about to turn 16, like 2 months later. But the day we dropped her off for college, we moved to Japan, and their driving age is 18. So I didn't have my license or anything until we moved back to the States a year later. So by the time I was driving, my sister had already moved out. And she drives like a grandma.
She does.
So she does not get a say in how I drive. She thinks I drive too fast. It's fine.
I just can't. Little sticky hands on the wheels forever in my head.
Look, my sister thinks I'm a dangerous driver, and she does not enjoy being in the car when I drive. It's fine.
It's just because you're like, it's like watching a toddler drive, no matter what age you are. Like, I understand that Emma's 25, but like at the same time, to me, she still
literally
has, like,
every time I get in the car with Allie, because I consider Allie my little sister. Like, every time I get in the car with her, I'm like, but you're 6 years old. What is happening?
Dude.
She's 24.
I've called Kimberly ham hands since the day she was born. Like, she's always had, like, clammy little baby ham hands. And that's what Emma and I call her. She'll, like, try to hold my hand. I'm like, get your ham hands away from me, you freak.
Oh, my God.
Lucy has Cheeto fingers. Millie has shovels for feet. And Emma just has, like... I don't even know how to describe them. They're like tiny little sausages for fingers.
I'm choking on my water.
All I can imagine is your cousins listening to this and being like, you know, she's right.
That's totally accurate. Kimberly does have ham hands. No, but...
Like, Kevin's going to be like, I never thought about it, but yeah.
I have never been able to share clothing with any of my siblings because I'm like 9 feet taller than the rest of them. They're all either like... I was
going to say, all your sisters are short.
Emma was just, freeze-dried for a couple of years, and then everyone else is Colombian, so they're all miniature. And I'm just like the weird fucking Amazon who comes in and... Everyone tries to hug me, and they're barely at my boobs, and it's just really embarrassing.
That's how Allison
So anyway,
is,
none of them are allowed to drive my car. That's the long and short of it.
Well, I'm getting my mom's car when I graduate, because my mom's a nice person and is giving me her car. But my mom drives a
so we don't have to help
tiny ass car, and Allison hates driving it, so she'll never want to drive it.
How is your mom's car gonna do in the snow?
It's not doing well in the snow. My stepdad's had to drive her everywhere the last 2 days.
Well, I'm just saying, like, when we're in Champaign.
You'll have to drive me everywhere.
It's all about the tires. It's all about the tires.
I mean, yes.
Get you some good
but
all-weather tires.
I have all-weather tires, and my car has front-wheel drive, so you can just drive my car.
My alternative is that I have to pay for a car, so I am accepting a free, very nice car with no complaints. I'll deal with snow when we deal with snow, but just anticipate you might have to drive me places. It's fine.
That's fine. We might just switch cars for the day. It'll be fine.
It's fine.
Fun fact, Shelby and I have the same car.
We do. We do. It's a good one. They're great.
I love it.
Slap some all-weather tires on there. Tires. I don't know how
You almost said tiles. I could tell. You were about to say tile, and then you switched it.
Yep. L's and R's. Those liquid sounds are awful. Which, fun fact, L's and R's are called liquids in speech pathology terms.
Interesting.
Or linguistic terms.
I said fire the other day in front of a bunch of New Englanders, and I wanted to kill myself.
I mean, that's a valid feeling.
Like, what the fuck?
How did we get here?
I don't know. Let's get back to George Washington Carver.
Oh, Kimberly has ham hands. That's where we are.
Let's get back.
All right, George Washington. Oh, Iowa. That's why.
Right.
Oh, she also used to call me bread because I'm so white. Okay, anyway, fuck her. Let's move on.
Allie basically calls me a ghost because I don't go outside, but it's fine.
My God. My sister's paler than I am, so she can't say anything.
She actually lives in Alaska, so she's not getting a whole lot of sun.
Before we started recording, I had to turn on another light because I was so white that I was blinding myself on my computer screen.
My walls are gray and I literally match them.
Yeah,
so.
me
okay. We are so off topic.
We are the whitest European mutts on the planet. Okay, we are the whitest white people.
Up?
We are basically
Irish and Polish.
Wonder Bread.
The two saddest white people. It's true.
I am German, Irish, and French, so yee.
That's what I am too.
Anyway. No, I said anyway.
Any yeet.
I am not a child. I don't know how to use
like I
those
said, I'm
youth
super
terms.
high because of the fumes in this household.
I'm just tired.
God.
I'm really sweaty. I'm gonna unbutton my shirt. Just don't. I'm gonna turn my camera off. Not that you can see me anyway.
I have said anyway, let's get back to George 10 times, so we're actually gonna do it this time.
Now my buffalo plaid is at a sexy low.
Hannah,
Down to my bra.
Shannon's face is so red from laughing.
We're not even halfway done.
Oh my god. Where are we on time? An hour. Okay, here we go.
We're actually not that bad on time, considering.
No, we're not.
This is just going to be called the giggling episode.
Right?
That's all we've done.
Oh my god. I'm trying to honor this dude.
I'm so sorry. I'll just stop talking entirely.
No, please don't.
I'm going to.
Okay, so where was I?
He went to
George
Iowa.
Washington Carver, who at the time was still George Carver, attended Iowa State Agriculture School as the first black student, and in 1894 he became the first ever African American to earn a Bachelor of Science degree. I already said all that.
Yes.
His professors were so impressed by his research during his undergrad days that when he graduated, they asked him to stay on at the university for graduate studies. So basically his research in undergrad was on fungal infections for soybeans. So
it's a useful thing to be studying in Iowa, because if they're not
It
growing
is.
corn,
It
you're going to be
is.
growing soybeans.
for
Do
sure.
we need to explain like crop rotation to people, or is
Please
that just
God,
something
not
that
right
we're,
now.
like...
Not right now.
Okay, we're gonna get to it because that's one of the things he did.
Oh, okay, cool.
Anyway,
I love a good crop rotation.
same.
Is it a soybean year? Or is it a corn year?
Or is it a fallow year?
Is it a fallow year? You know, that's always a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
My mom.
I mean, you
got
also have to
children.
move pumpkins around because they destroy the soil. Fun fact, which
We made it 1 point.
not even, it was like half a point.
Are you going to say that Illinois is the largest producer of pumpkins?
No,
Did you know that?
No.
Illinois is the largest producer
They
of pumpkins
are.
in the entire world.
they
Oh,
are.
I didn't know
But
that.
also, fun fact, and this has nothing to do with pumpkins and everything to do with soil replenishing. But sunflowers can actually absorb radiation out of the ground.
Ooh.
So
That's why Russians love them.
yes, the Russians planted them in the areas surrounding Chernobyl because they can restore the soil so that you can actually plant crops there that aren't mutated and weird. So,
All right, then.
things you learn when you don't sleep. All right, so he stayed on at Iowa State for graduate studies. So during the time that he was doing that, he worked at the Iowa State Experimental Station, which he worked under this one famous dude whose name I didn't write down because I'm stupid. But he studied funguses.
Is he a
And
fun guy?
he was a fun guy. And while he worked there, it basically enhanced his skills for identifying and treating plant diseases, and he gained national recognition and respect as a botanist for his research. So, and then I didn't really know where to put this, so just tossing in this fact, for a while he taught as the first black faculty member at Iowa State. So my cat has officially realized that my door is shut. So I'm sorry if she's scratching in the background because I'm not getting out of bed to get her.
Launching herself at my door. And
Okay. So he earned his Master of Agriculture degree in 1896 and immediately received multiple offers of employment due to his renown in the agricultural world, which is kind of cool for a black dude in 1896.
Yeah.
Like, in agriculture too, but like,
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of a niche field, but still. So the most alluring offer to him came from Booker T. Washington. So Booker T. Washington was like the head of the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, which is now called Tuskegee University. But it was an all-black institute.
Mhm.
Is it still all black?
It's a historically black college, so
Gotcha. Okay, I was like,
technically.
I think I probably should know that, but I don't. Anyway, so at the time it was all black. Booker T. Washington was the head of it. He offered George Carver a job. Basically, the way that he offered him the job is that he convinced the university trustees to establish an agricultural school specifically so that Carver could run it. So
Cool.
So George took that. Oh my God, Yuki. George took that job at Tuskegee Institute, and that is where he worked for the rest of his life. He and Booker T. Washington were very good friends, but also had kind of a tumultuous relationship. But that is why he added Washington to his name, is because of Booker T. Washington. Mm-hmm. So basically he took on his last name, but also kept Carver. Mm-hmm. So that is why he's George Washington Carver.
Cool.
So
I have to say something really quick.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not gonna be able to find it. Hold on. Rainbow? How do I figure this out? Nope. Okay. Listen. So when I was little, we had this cassette tape, right? We used to listen to it every time we were in the car. Am I still on? Yes. Okay.
yes.
One of the characters in it, he was a worm, and his name was Booker T. Worm.
I vaguely recall that.
Yeah, they like slid down a rainbow, like a
Yeah.
lion's mane rainbow, and there's like a bear, and I can't think of what it was called though. I just texted Emma, and that's why I was laughing.
It was Booker T. Bookworm, not just Booker T. Worm. I just Googled it.
No. It's Booker T. Worm. There was no bookworm. Because I've seen that bookworm shit, and that is not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
If
Rainbow.
I
Say
found
so.
it. They are two separate characters. One of them is
Yeah,
in
thanks,
Barney.
Shannon.
The other one is not, apparently.
Yes, not that Barney bullshit. This was like its own thing.
it was a Christian thing, for sure.
That's why I don't know what it is.
Was
Yeah,
the lion
yeah.
like Aslan from Narnia?
Oh my God, Yuki, stop.
It was like they were on a trip. Fuck, what was it called? I texted Emma.
I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Moving on. I mean, it does matter, but it's not relevant to me, and I need to stop Googling it because I need to move on. Okay. Back to George Washington Carver. All right, so that's basically his, like, early life, I guess, and how he came to be at Tuskegee University and a researcher. So while he was at Tuskegee, I guess at this point it was still Tuskegee Institute, initially he kind of, like, struggled with working there, mostly because he was in charge of this agricultural center, or this agricultural school, but it was in Alabama, and agricultural training was not popular in the South at the time because all the Southern farmers thought they already knew everything, because that's how people in the South are. Also, a lot of the students who came to the school were coming to get educated so that they didn't have to work on farms. And so going into agriculture wasn't exactly a popular thing.
Yeah.
Also, he kind of struggled because a lot of the other faculty members were not fond of him, purely because part of his deal with, like, Booker T. Washington getting him to accept the job was that he got 2 rooms in the dorms. One was for him to use, and then the other one was for his plants. And most of the other,
that's so cute.
right, it's adorable, but most of the other faculty members, even if they were married and had kids, were only allowed 1 dorm room. So he was allowed a second one purely for his plants. So people didn't like that. And
children.
then also he was, like, received a really high salary comparatively, and so they also did not like that. And a lot of them viewed him as being, like, uppity because he, like, made more money than them or whatever. So
How does that make you uppity?
what?
I said, how does that make you uppity?
I don't know, because they thought he saw himself as, like, above them,
Oh.
I guess.
Get over yourself. Not him, everyone else.
Right. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he was responsible for research, managing the school's 2 farms and their like output and profits and all of that. He had to teach classes, he had to ensure that the school's sanitary facilities worked properly, and he was expected to sit on multiple committees and councils. So like in my mind, he deserved that salary. I don't know what all the other faculty members did, if their list of responsibilities was just as long, but based off that list and like my modern idea of how much you should get paid for the amount of work that you're doing, I think he deserved his salary.
Yeah.
But again, I wasn't in that situation, so it is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, he kind of like struggled in the beginning. Also, he really hated teaching. He really just wanted to do his research.
I just want to feed my plants.
Literally
Basically.
just about to say, I
Beat
just
you
want to
to
sit
it.
here and feed my birds.
And feed my plants.
And that's kind of why he and Booker T. Washington had kind of a tumultuous relationship, because basically Washington was like, no, you're gonna be in charge of this school, you have to give me all these reports, you have to go and meet with these people, you have to be like the face of this school and blah blah blah. And Carver was like, I just want to do my research and play with my plants, leave me alone. And basically he like begged Washington to like not have to teach classes, and Washington was like, no, you're gonna do it. Which, to be fair, he's in charge of the whole entire school, so
Yeah.
like, he's in charge, but still. Anyway, George Washington Carver did not like teaching. He really just wanted to sit there and feed his plants.
There you go.
Anyway, his students in the classes that he did teach, though, his students did love him very much, by all accounts. But in 1915, Booker T. Washington actually passed away, and his successor was Robert Moton, and Robert relieved Carver of his teaching duties except for summer classes. So it like freed him up to do research, and he was a lot happier and all the things. But basically, for his research and besides all of his like school duties, for what he really like did, I guess, he taught poor farmers basically ways to conserve money, like ways that they could use things they already had so that they didn't have to waste money. So he taught them how to like feed hogs with acorns instead of commercial feed, and then how to use swamp muck, which is everywhere in the South, but how to use that to enrich their fields instead of buying fertilizers. So
That just sounds like what the air is made out of in the South.
It is. It really is.
Swamp muck.
Let me tell you, having lived in the deep South, it is basically just swamp everywhere. The air, the people, the ground, the church. Yep, it is all swamp. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. But yeah, so he ended up saving a bunch of farmers a bunch of money, and they were like, maybe we should listen to this dude. He seems to know what he's talking about. And then he also invented this thing called the Jessup wagon. It was named after some dude named Jessup, and I read the sentence on why he named it that, and then immediately was like, I don't care. Sorry. Anyway, Carver invented the Jessup wagon.
Okay.
And it was basically this like horse-drawn wagon, so it was mobile, but he set it up so that it was essentially like a mobile classroom. So he was able to take it out to farmers so that he could like demonstrate soil chemistry and like show them, like actively show them how these things worked. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Basically the first mobile classroom. And then he used his work in soil chemistry, because that's a lot of like what his research was soil chemistry, and he used that to introduce the idea of crop rotation. Here you go, Hannah. Just for
Thank you. This is my favorite thing about the Midwest.
I love how we just all know crop rotation just because we lived in fucking Freeburg/Smithton.
Right?
Like, that's the only reason I know it. I have no reason to know crop rotation.
For those who don't know, crop rotation is what farmers do. Basically, they rotate which crop goes in which field by year. So, like, one year they'll put, like, corn in a certain field, and then the next year they will put soybeans. And that is because certain crops deplete the soil of nutrients and certain crops enrich the soil with nutrients. But people didn't know about that back in the 1890s. So
that's why we had the Dust Bowl.
Yup.
Oh my god, that was like a jinx. It was beautiful.
But yeah, so George Washington Carver, he did his work in soil chemistry, so he knew about like soil depletion and enrichment and all of that. Well, the South, their main crop is cotton, and always has been, probably always will be. But cotton is one of the worst plants for the soil that you could ever do. And at the time, that was like all the South had ever planted was cotton, maybe some coffee.
They planted tobacco too, but that was
I was gonna say one time tobacco.
Virginia area. I don't know about like the
that's
South,
more.
That was more like Virginia,
that's
North Carolina area.
But yeah, so like deep South, like Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah, they pretty much only grew cotton.
They were all cotton, and so their fields were basically drying up. Their yields for cotton, a yield is how much you get out of a field, essentially, in non-farmers terms, non-Midwest terms.
So
it's how much of the crop you get. No, go for it.
I think it's like, because Shelby, you would be the only other person who would have like perspective on this, but I feel like depending on where you live, you learn. You like overlearn a certain subject in school. So like growing up in the Midwest and also in Montana, because Montana had like a big tie to this too, we learned so much about Lewis and Clark.
Oh my god,
like,
so much.
That's all we talk about in history is Lewis and Clark. That's it.
May.
And
go ahead, sorry.
I'm trying to think of like in Montana we learned about Lewis and Clark.
Is she okay?
And meth.
I don't know. I'm gonna go check on Maisie real quick. She seems really upset. Hang on. Hannah, you can just keep talking.
I was gonna say, she seems really sad.
I'll be right back. Hang on. Oh, honey. Hey, what's the matter?
Oh, poor May.
Like, Florida, we didn't learn anything because they didn't have a school system, basically.
Well, like in Georgia, I mean, we learned about other things, but anytime they talked about the Civil War, literally you didn't learn anything except that Sherman marched on Georgia and burned the state to the ground.
Cool,
and like they're still bitter about it. And I was like, okay, but a lot more happened in the Civil War than that. So like, can we maybe learn about a few other things? But no.
Yeah.
Nope, it's literally just Sherman.
We didn't even, I don't even think we touched on that in Florida. We just like
literally no one else talks about Sherman's march on Georgia except Georgia, and that's literally all they talk about.
It's because y'all are still real bitter about it.
I learned about that. We talked about it in one of my social studies classes. I don't remember, but
I mean,
probably not in the detail that they did in Georgia, but
yeah.
You okay now?
Yeah, what did we do in Florida? Florida, we just practiced for the FCATs, which were like the standardized tests there. Which was
That's literally all Florida cares about. I remember taking so many standardized tests in Florida. God,
that's
so
all you
many.
fucking do in Florida.
So many. It was like 3 times a year we took a standardized test.
Yes, seriously. I think I was the only kid in my high school who knew how to read, like, because everyone else was just FCAT specific, and I was like, do you guys even, like, have you cracked a book ever? I don't know. Just wondering.
Ugh, so bad. Florida sucks.
Where else did I go to school?
Lots of places.
Am I missing a state? I guess not.
I don't know. Your life.
Yeah, Lewis and Clark was just like drilled into our head.
I was going to say, if you grew up in the Midwest, you know everything about Lewis and Clark, but it's all wrong.
No, if you grew up anywhere where Lewis and Clark's feet touched, because Montana is definitely not the Midwest.
If you went anywhere along the Missouri River.
Yeah, anywhere on the, what did they call it? Did that Lewis and Clark Trail? That's what it's called.
The Lewis and Clark Trail.
The one with their name in it, right? Anyway,
right.
That's all we
that trail that Lewis and Clark did.
Remember that time when Lewis and Clark? Oh, yeah. But yeah, that's why I was thinking about crop rotation, because that's just something we know. Like,
you just know so much about it.
Our high school senior parking lot was the same parking lot as the grain silo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it touched the building. I could look into their office.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And also, what was the other thing I was just... Oh, didn't we have to watch a... I know Emma did. Did we have to watch a movie in driver's ed called Killer Corn or something like that? About, like, the dangers of tall corn when turning
Probably.
left
I
on
don't
the road?
remember,
Probably.
but probably. I mean, that is, like, an actual, like, problem in the summer. You can't fucking see around corners on the back
Corn.
roads.
And deer
It's like,
just jump
imagine-
out of it at you.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking idiots who don't use stop signs. Imagine driving through tunnels for, like, a
Yeah.
month out of the year.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it's like.
It's basically, and then we get like the birds migrating, and it literally looks like
Oh
the
my
movie The
God.
Birds. It's a
fucking
tunnel of
birds.
corn with a tunnel of birds, and occasionally a deer will jump out at you, and you're on this back road without a speed limit, and Allie's
But it's
driving
okay.
at 90
It
miles
doesn't
per
have any
hour,
curves.
and you're gonna die.
But it doesn't have any curves. It's fine.
Yeah,
You
there's
just
no
have to
ditches.
keep the wheel
It's
straight.
just a cornfield.
Except if you're going to Freeburg from Smithton on I think it's Carr Road. I don't remember.
I don't know.
But when those idiots had those fucking peacocks back there that were never
yeah.
in
Oh
their
my God,
goddamn
yeah.
cage, and every single morning, all of the Smithton kids would be like, "I will hit a fucking peacock."
Well, and it's not
morning.
completely out of the norm to just have a cow on the road.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
happened
Buddy,
more
what's his
than
face,
once.
always had that stupid pig in the road.
Yep.
Also, neighbors to the peacock people. Sometimes their horses were out. It's just rare.
It just welcome to the Midwest.
We
suck.
basically just learned, like, crop rotation and all that by osmosis or something, because I don't think we were ever
really did.
taught crop rotation in
Right.
a science class.
I mean, I was just because my grandpa's a farmer, but
Like, I learned it in college in my fucking, like, 19th century Europe class for some reason. But, like, I don't think I learned it in K through 12. I just know it.
yeah.
You know? Well, I mean, and you see, like, it's not like we have different routes to school. You go by the same field.
Right, you go by the same field
twice a day.
a million times.
And then some
Twice
years...
a day
The
for however
entire
many
life.
years.
Yeah. Some days there's, you know, some years there's corn, some years there's soybeans, and some years there's nothing. And then after a
Exactly.
while, you notice that there's a pattern.
Right?
I wrote a poem about the fallow field.
Oh gosh.
It almost won a contest one time.
There you
I
go.
love that for you.
Thank you. My mom read it and she's like, "Are you suicidal?" I was like, "Don't worry about it."
Oh my gosh. But yeah, anyway, we
fine.
have crop rotation because of George Washington Carver. Back to
Thanks,
him.
bruh.
Thanks for every Midwest child knowing it for the rest of eternity.
We're all mini little farmers.
Yes. But yeah, so basically cotton in the South, that's all they grew mostly. And it after so many years, it had depleted the soil of nutrients, specifically nitrogen. And because of that, their crops weren't as big. Like they weren't making very much profit off of the cotton because that's why we had a Dust Bowl.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And Dust Bowl.
Yeah. So George taught the farmers down there in their parts.
I really thought you were going to say down under.
No one wants to hear my Australian accent. Even if it is authentic. But no, George taught the farmers down in Alabama and throughout the South, because he traveled like throughout the South with his teachings. But he taught them how to rotate their crops. And the crops that he had them rotate with were mostly peanuts, soybeans, and sweet potatoes, which are all nitrogen fixing plants. So basically, they're the plants that put nitrogen back into the soil so that you can then grow more cotton. So after a few years of planting one of those nitrogen fixing plants, they could plant cotton again and their yields would dramatically increase. So, but of course, this crop rotation caused a surplus of peanuts, soybeans, and sweet potatoes, and people are like, what are we supposed to do with these? So he then started doing research on alternative uses for those crops. Which, I mean, some of them, like the sweet potatoes and soybeans, are really good, like food crops. And so you could use them for that. But again, they were having surpluses, so they still needed to find alternative uses. And like, you can only, at the time, only do so much with peanuts. Like, yeah. So, for sweet potatoes, he invented like multiple products such as flour, vinegar, stains, dyes, paints, and writing ink. So that's cool. But overall, peanuts were his greatest success, which is why everyone knows him for peanuts. And then I put in my notes, even though he didn't invent peanut butter like our books always teach us, because that's all they ever teach us about him, even though it's not even true. It's fine.
So who did invent peanut butter?
I don't know. I didn't look it up. I didn't bother to care.
Okay. I'll look it up.
I Google it now.
Yeah.
I was like, it wasn't him, and that's all I know.
Here's what comes up.
Peanut
Oh my god.
butter.
Oh my god. Here's what comes up. Who invented school? Who invented the light bulb? Who invented blow-up dolls?
Oh,
Who
God.
invented homework?
It was
Who invented the internet?
Some dude in Canada, mostly.
Hate the internet.
And then, yeah, it was some dude in Canada.
I mean,
and then
all peanut butter is pureed peanuts.
Yeah.
And, like, oil.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Marcellus Gilmore Edson of Montreal, Canada. And
And now there's more ingredients because they add, like, sugar
Yeah.
and stuff.
And
But
then-
He looks himself like a peanut.
And then one of the Kellogg people,
Yeah.
Oh
like,
my
promoted
god.
it.
We need to do an episode
I
on
know.
the Kellogg's.
I know.
That shit is
Oh, God.
They're crazy.
Oh, I just
They really are.
punched my Nintendo.
The Kellogg's are crazy,
Shelby-
but they were just like, we like cereal. No, I know.
It was called The Forest of Feathery Friends, everybody. That is what that cassette tape was called.
Okay.
Hi, Emma. We're recording the podcast right now, and I just want to say thank you so much.
Oh,
I was
hey.
trying to look that up, and it didn't work out.
A businessman from St. Louis first produced and sold peanut butter in the form of a snack food in 1894.
Look at St. Louis go.
I miss peanut butter so much.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should stop bringing it up. That's right. Shannon can't have peanut butter because her body thinks it's
My body thinks it's ragweed pollen.
Yep.
I
Hannah's still on
Yeah.
her bookworm.
I just miss peanut butter so bad. I just want to eat like a spoonful of peanut butter and I can't because I'll throw up.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
And some butter's not
It's
a
not
good alternative.
It's not the same.
like
thing.
it's a good alternative, but
it's not as
it's not the same.
fatty, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
Like they make one now that's more the same texture. It's thicker, you know, but it's not the same.
I was gonna say when I worked at the daycare, we had to be like nut free.
Yeah.
So we gave the kids like some butter sandwiches. So when we had leftovers, I would
yeah,
eat
that's what we
those,
have
and
at
they're
school.
like fine,
They're
but
fine.
they're not
it's
peanut
not
butter.
peanut butter. Yeah.
So,
Ugh, I miss peanut butter so bad.
yes.
So, do you guys know the Mandela effect?
Yes.
Yes.
Here's why I think I'm sometimes from a different universe. Because I know that The Forest of Feathery Friends was a real cassette tape that I owned in the early the early 90s. And I listened to it every goddamn day.
Okay.
I cannot find it. It's not...
Okay, but I have a lot of things from like
cassette tape.
like cassettes that were like Christian story things that like they don't exist on the internet.
Is it a Christian story? I just felt like they just rode down a lion's rainbowy mane. Forest of Feathery Friends.
I don't know.
Ugh.
Did you ever listen to what was it like Adventures in Odyssey or something?
I have no idea. Is it with that donut?
No.
I did watch that donut puppet.
It was like a
Do you know what I'm talking
bison.
about? Donut.
Oh god. Anyway, back to
Yeah.
Peanuts. So
A Peasern puppet.
from Peanuts, Carver developed over 300 different products, including milk, Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire
Up here we
sauce.
call it Worcester.
Do you call it Worcestershire sauce though? I was gonna say.
I'm just being stupid. Okay, look how I spell donut puppet.
Oh god.
Hannah, we need to actually get through this episode.
I know, sorry.
Oh god. Okay. So his products were from Peanuts were milk, Worcestershire sauce, and yes, that is how I say it. I do not care how it's properly pronounced.
Okay, but I can't say Worcester. What the fuck?
Okay. Cooking oil, salad oil, paper, cosmetics, soaps, wood stains. The list goes on and on forever. It's 300 products. I'm not listing them all. And then he also... What?
I'm sorry. I'm just being stupid. I'll shut up. You know what? I'm just going to leave.
Don't.
Hannah's on a temporary ban.
My shirt is unbuttoned to my fucking belly button, and I'm sweating, and I'm a little bit really high.
Hannah, do we need to shadow ban you or something? Like,
Jesus Christ.
No. I'll be good.
okay.
Hannah should have had something more to eat than coffee.
Yeah.
I had an egg salad sandwich.
That does not count as food.
That is food.
No.
Listen, up here, instead of peanut butter and jelly, we give our kids egg salad sandwiches.
Ew.
Like, that's what the
Disgusting.
Nothing
that is
other
the
than
equivalent up here.
plants and maybe pasta should be the basis of a salad. I will die on this hill.
Egg salad is disgusting.
Oh no, I totally agree with you. I don't think it should be called egg salad, but it's still a delicious sandwich.
Ugh, no.
Egg salad always reminds me of Minnesota, which then reminds me of Jell-O salad, and that shit's disgusting.
Jell-O salad needs to burn in hell.
My point still stands. Only plants and sometimes pasta should be the basis for salad.
No pastas are allowed in
No,
my
no,
salad,
because
bro.
Jell-O
It's just
salad
plants.
is Jell-O and like lettuce
know.
and celery and
I know what
mayonnaise
Jell-O
and Cool
salad is.
Whip.
Yes, I know.
My mom once made
gross.
a Waldorf salad that included my great aunt's toenail clippings.
Why?
Ever told you that story?
No, probably.
Maybe it was for fingernails. I don't remember. Some kind of nail went into it.
Why?
My mom didn't. She was like trimming her nails and they flew into the salad. It was like Thanksgiving and it was my mom's first Thanksgiving at my dad's relative's house and it was my great aunt, I guess. And like, I can't
That's why you don't trim your nails around someone who's cooking.
Listen, go tell that to a Farley relative. They'll laugh in your face.
Is this a
spit
common
on you,
occurrence?
too.
Like,
God.
No, but my mom ate the salad and like ate the nails because she didn't want to be rude. Because it was her first time at that family's house, and so she was like, "It's delicious."
Oh God, why? Why?
I don't know, but she makes it every year still. Waldorf salad, which is like celery and apples and bullshit.
I was gonna say Waldorf salad is disgusting too.
I hate it. She also makes turnips every year. No
These
offense.
are all white people
That's
salads,
garbage food.
just so you know.
in case people are wondering. Can we get back to the thing,
No.
please? I want to eat dinner at some point today.
I'm so tired.
How's it feel to be up so late, everybody?
Okay. So Carver also experimented with peanut-based medicines like antiseptics, laxatives, and goiter medication, which overall, a lot of his discoveries didn't gain widespread recognition. A lot of them were never really used, but he did do all this research on them. A lot of them, it's just because something better already existed or came to exist during the time when he was researching. So there wasn't really a lot of need for it. But the fact that he could come up with like 300 different things for peanuts is like kind of crazy. So in 1916, he was made a member of the Royal Society of Arts in England, and he was one of only a handful of Americans to receive the honor at the time. The Royal Society of Arts is an organization based out of London. It is committed to finding practical solutions to social challenges. It's not actually affiliated with the royal government. They were granted the use of the word royal in their name in 1908. Yeah, no. So, but the fact that like in 1916, he was made a member of this society and like not many Americans in general. And then also he's like an African American. Like, yeah. Anyway. And then in 1921, George testified before the Ways and Means Committee of the U.S. House of Representatives in order to seek tariff protection for the peanut industry. Basically, at the time, peanut farmers were being super undercut by low prices on peanuts imported from China. So he went to them to get tariff protection, essentially. And I guess from what I read, like when he first went in there, the people kind of like laughed at him and were like, "You're really here for peanuts, blah, blah, blah." And, but he like did so well with his speech. And throughout the speech, he like described all the possible uses for peanuts, and they kept like extending his time to give him more time to speak. And by the end of it, he had earned himself a standing ovation, and he had convinced the committee to approve the tariff. And the tariff that they approved was actually like super high. So, essentially, he like saved the peanut industry. And this is how he became known as the Peanut Man, and kind of how he gained a lot of his notoriety outside of the South. And basically because of that, he kind of became like a minor celebrity throughout America. So yeah, basically he stood up for peanuts and everyone was like, "You, sir, are cool." But yeah, and then in 1923, he received the Spingarn Medal from the NAACP for outstanding achievement by an African American. And then essentially his goal in life and with his research and all of that was to help people. He really just wanted to make things like cheaper, easier, more beneficial for people all around. And so he, for like the last 20 or so years of his life, he traveled around the South to promote racial harmony. He even, in between 1923 and 1933, he toured white colleges for the Commission on Interracial Cooperation. And then at one point, he even traveled to India to meet Gandhi and discuss nutrition in developing nations. So.
That's awesome.
He did a lot. And then he wanted all of his findings to like be known. Again, he wanted to help people. So a lot of his research and then even just like findings that he found that would have like practical uses for everyday people, he released them as bulletins to the public. Overall, he released 44 bulletins between 1898 and 1943 when he passed away. And on these bulletins, they had like information on cultivation for farmers, science for teachers, recipes for housewives. Like it had a little bit of everything. I think it said that on one of the bulletins it had like over 108 recipes or something.
God.
So like he really just wanted to get the information out there for people to be able to use, make their lives easier, make their lives cheaper, like give them more uses for what they had on hand. And then this I guess is kind of like a side note. It's related to his like peanut research. But in the 1930s there was a polio outbreak and he did research. He was like convinced that peanuts were the answer. And so he did research on peanut oil massages and he reported positive results from those. But since then, studies have shown that there's no real scientific evidence that the peanut oil did anything. Mm-hmm. It was more likely that the massages and the attentive care to the patients are what helped them.
Yeah.
So, you know, correlation, causation thing. But again, he was doing research. So, yeah.
My grandpa had polio.
Mm-hmm. What?
Said my grandpa had polio. Sorry,
oh, yeah.
That was all.
My grandma had polio.
Sick. I mean, like, but for real, in the hospital.
Right.
I don't know if any of my relatives had polio. If they did, no one has told me.
Yep.
So.
It was a good time.
Although I'm reliant on my mother for that information, so there's no way to know.
She would not know.
She wouldn't know.
Nope. So January 5th, 1943, Carver passed away at 78 years old. He was buried next to Booker T. Washington on the Tuskegee University grounds. He never married. So yeah. it was just him, and he went with his brother. But yeah, so soon afterwards, after he passed away because he fell down the stairs in his house.
Oh my god, that's how I'm gonna go.
Tuskegee University. It is how you're gonna go with how many times you've fallen down the stairs lately.
Yeah. I'm not even joking. That I was just thinking about that earlier today. I was like, when I'm old, like really old, I cannot live in a 2-story home.
No,
I will die.
You cannot. No. You currently can't live in a 2-story home.
I called my mom the other day. You're on the verge of death
every other day.
Seriously, I called my mom the other day to tell her that a kid in our classroom. Actually, I shouldn't say that. That whatever. That something happened, and she said. She answered the phone, and I was like, "You're never gonna believe it." She's like, "Oh my god, you fell down the stairs." I was like, "No,
not this time."
Rude.
But yeah, so soon after his death, President Franklin Roosevelt signed legislation. Y'all, L's and R's are hard, okay? He signed legislation for Carver to receive his own monument, which now stands in Diamond, Missouri. This honor had previously only been granted to Presidents George Washington and Abraham Lincoln.
So it's like a government monument, not just like a random statue that people put up, is the difference?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is a government monument.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. And even though he never officially earned a doctorate from any university, Simpson College and Selma University both awarded him honorary doctorates of science during his lifetime. Because a lot of people called him doctor throughout his lifetime, and he was always like, that's a misnomer because I'm not actually a doctor. But
to be fair, it was a lot easier to become a doctor back then.
Right. And he was so knowledgeable and did so much that a lot of people were like, no, we respect you, you're a doctor in your field, blah blah blah. And he's like, but I don't have my doctorate. And they're like,
we don't care.
You're cool. And he's like,
okay.
But I didn't earn a doctorate. But yeah, so they gave him honorary doctorates of science during his lifetime, and then Iowa State awarded him a doctorate of humane letters posthumously in 1994, which seems a little late to me, but whatever. And then he was also posthumously inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame.
Okay, cool.
And
that sounds like the coolest place to be.
Right?
I just feel like that would be so neat. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just thinking about you know how back in grade school when you would make guns and shit out of paper clips and rubber bands, and you called yourself an inventor.
Yes.
Anyway, just okay. Bye. That was it. That was fine.
Okay. Yeah, that is all that I have in my notes about him. There was a lot that I didn't put in, but they were a lot of one-off comments about people that he knew or people that he had. What? Why are you sending me something? Sorry. It was people that he knew, people that he had visited, talked with. I think he met with 3 different presidents or something throughout his lifetime. He was really good friends with Henry Ford. And it was to the point that when he got older and couldn't go up and down stairs as well, Henry Ford had an elevator installed in his home at Tuskegee.
Dang.
So that he didn't have to use the stairs, things like that. So he was very, and he had so many more awards than what I mentioned. Those were kind of just the really big ones. And just kind of funny, he wasn't always just a quiet I'm gonna help the farmers dude. He literally threatened to resign from Tuskegee many times. And he and Booker T. Washington got into it many times. And so
this should be the next Lin-Manuel Miranda
musical. Yeah.
Do a musical on this. It would be so cool.
I feel the tension is just so good between these two. Not that I've almost called them characters, they were real people. What am I talking about? I've been brainwashed.
Yeah. And basically, I guess he was like easily offended by things. Not easily offended, but like he would get offended by things that like other faculty would do at the school. And like Booker T. Washington always smoothed it over, always like got him to not resign and all this stuff. So like, yeah, like, you know, which Booker T. Washington had a tendency to like micromanage George Washington Carver and his like running of the agricultural school, but also he was his boss, so like
yeah.
But basically he was praised for his abilities in teaching and research, but all of his administrative skills, everyone was like, yeah, bro's not organized. He can't keep a record book of like numbers. Like, no, he should not be in an administrative position. Let him do his research. Let him teach. He's really good at those.
Let him play with his plants.
Yeah.
Right, literally. Because I think it was like his bookkeeping of like the financial things for the like the section of the school that he ran. They were always wrong.
Great.
And he was always getting in trouble for them. And they were like, why are your reports wrong? And he was like, because I don't care. So.
Because, have you seen this plan?
I'm busy.
Literally, he was just like, I do not care.
Why didn't they just hire him an assistant or something?
Right, exactly. But, and he hated going to like committee meetings.
That's
He
fair.
literally just wanted to play with his plants and
Same.
to get his research out to people.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally all he wanted out of life.
That's fair.
And people kept being like, but no, you have to have a real job. And he was like, no, I don't. My job is to play with plants.
I literally picked my job so that I wouldn't have to interact with humans. So, like, I get it. Like, having a certain
Yeah.
focus in your job.
Yeah.
I get it.
But also, apparently, like, with committees and things like that, he was really good at, like, he was a really good orator. So he was a really good speaker, if he was passionate about the subject.
Yeah.
So.
I was gonna say, if you get a standing ovation for talking about peanuts for like 6 hours,
front of
then
the
yeah, you're
means
probably
and
really good at
ways.
Right, like
Committee,
you're good at speaking about, and he knew what he was talking about. Like, he wasn't going to talk about anything he didn't know what he was talking about. He just, if he didn't know it, he didn't necessarily care to know it. You know, or like, I mean, he's not a numbers dude. Like,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
That's, like, also,
It's like that Sherlock Holmes mentality thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to say he didn't care to know it. He was just like, I don't know this, so like, why is it my job? I don't care.
The Means and
sort of
Ways
thing.
Committee is also, or Ways and Means, whatever. It's the most boring one because they deal with, like, taxes and social
Exactly.
security.
I mean, that's what a tariff
Yeah.
is. It's literally
and
just
shit like that. So,
right. So like, to get a standing ovation, because they sat there for like weeks and they were like,
yeah.
let's hear this dude talk about his peanuts, I guess.
yeah. So boring.
But yeah. So, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about him because he's one of those people that like, he always gets a sentence in like history books, but that's all you ever learn.
And it is apparently
Sometimes
an
in, like, a
incorrect
science book.
sentence. So
Right, and it's always, he invented peanut butter and he did a whole bunch of stuff with peanuts, and it's like, yeah, but he did so much more than that. Like, he's literally the reason we have crop rotation.
yeah.
So
Like, do you like your field not being a dust bowl?
like, do you like having
Carver.
food?
Yeah.
Do you like not living in a desert 24/7?
Yeah.
Because
Do you like when the
he
plants stay in the
saved
ground?
the American economic and environment system single-handedly. I will die on this hill. Okay. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of go a bit more in depth on George Washington Carver because I think people should know about him.
Yeah.
And he deserves to be known about because he's a cool dude. And he
Yeah.
did a lot. I mean, the fact that he did kind of the same as with Bass Reeves. Like, he was so, like, renowned in his field and everything, which was unheard of at the time.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
all of that. And, like, I know he worked at Tuskegee, but, like, he also had job offers. And he went into like all white colleges, and he went and worked with white farmers in the South.
Well, and, like Tuskegee's a really respected institution, and it was even at the time. Like, it's not like this,
for sure.
Like, this was not a bad school, you know what I mean?
It was not a just like, well, I guess I'll go here because it's the only place that'll accept me. Like, no, it was a really...
It's like a prestigious university.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, so I just wanted to talk about him.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you.
Yeah. And hey, we've had at least, I don't even remember what Hannah did. Oh no, she did Dyatlov. We've had 2 in a row that weren't miserable, like topic-wise.
Well, I wanted to do...
Good.
Well, and I wanted to do someone who had like contributed to society, someone who had done something good and didn't have a miserable life.
Yeah, well, I mean, like...
Their entire life?
Yeah, and, like, I kind of brought this up whenever I, like, told you guys, like, it is Black History Month. Like, I don't want to spend Black History Month focusing on sad stuff because that's, like, in media, that's, like, all we get about Black history and about, like, Black stories at all. It's always about how miserable everybody is, so...
And, I really want to use...
Let's not do that.
This time... And, I mean... It's not like we're not going to do stories about, like, Black people or African Americans, people of color, whatever.
No. Yeah.
Past February. It's just that, like, to highlight it this month, like, I wanted it to be good stories. Like, people who had, like, risen above, done great things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's all good.
So.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you.
Okay. Yay!
Our ending is that we have no ending. Do we have any wrap-up thoughts?
I don't think so.
I just really love crop rotation.
Right? We're good Midwestern children. We love crop rotation.
My dad always says, because I'm so fucking tall, he's like, this... Right here's my daughter. She's corn-fed, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, my God. That's such a Midwestern dad thing to say.
My dad is not from the Midwest.
Yeah, and your dad isn't even Midwestern.
My dad is from Canada. Anyway.
Just rubs off on you. Kind of like how you say fire wrong now.
Fire.
Right. Far.
And flour.
Flour.
At least they don't put an R in wash.
Yeah, that's something we can all be proud of, that we don't say wash.
I hate that.
Oh, I hate it so much.
God. Anyway.
Hoozle.
Bye, guys, I guess.
Bye.
Bye.
Rotate your crops.
Do it. Thanks for listening to The Triad. Our music is by Scott Buckley. Our audio is recorded by our sound engineers, Craig Bott and Audrey Credo.
If you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Tumblr as The Triad Podcast. Our website is thetriadpodcast.wordpress.com. There, you can find information about our latest episode, including the show notes and sources.
We're also on Patreon as The Triad. Currently, all Patreon funds will go towards the cost of hosting the show. Each tier has its own rewards, but every patron receives our undying gratitude. Do you have comments, questions, or stories? Email us at thetriadpod@gmail.com. And thank you again for listening to The Triad, where we're spooky but sensitive.